cinematic.
Adding cinematic bars does not actually make your video cinematic, and I think I just dissed 90% of you watching this video. So if you just want to see why you're doing it wrong, skip to this timestamp. So in order to truly understand aspect ratio and why 90% of people are doing it wrong, we need to learn a little bit of history. But before that, it is important to understand that aspect ratios are made of horizontal and vertical pixels that make up a resolution. However, it is important that every aspect ratio can have the same ratio, but different resolution. Motion picture was first invented back in December of 1895. And back in the good old Hollywood days when film was first shot for cinema, there was only one aspect ratio, the 4:3. This was the starting point for images to be seen in a motion picture video. The film strips they used were 35mm film stocks, 4:3 inches on 35 film, hence called 4:3. As time moved on, filmmakers were kinda tired of this square-like aspect ratio and wanted to shoot films with more horizontal space, so they introduced CinemaScope to the filmmaking world. The CinemaScope was introduced back in 1953 by bringing anamorphic lenses into the scene, no pun intended. The idea of anamorphic lenses is to allow the creatives to shoot more horizontal information by de-squeezing in post to give that 21:9 aspect ratio, also known as the 2:3. This measurement is slightly different in how much the lens de-squeezes, but it gives the 2:3 widescreen look that everyone loves today. Okay, so this is why 90% of you guys are doing it wrong. So I have two files here, a 21:9 video with cinematic bars. So essentially what that means is that it's a 16:9 video with top and bottom cinematic bars. So as you can see, if I play it, you could still see that 21:9 look, and we still have the top and bottom bars. So when we play it full screen, we can actually see that, oh, this gives the 21:9 look. However, the reason why this is wrong is when you watch this on a 21:9 monitor or a 21:9 aspect ratio on a phone, for example, you're gonna get these side crops and you have to zoom in. But when you zoom in, you're actually losing resolution. And on top of that, the video itself is in 16:9, so you're not actually watching 21:9 video. However, if you watch the same video in 21:9, as you can see, we have no top and bottom bezels. Or not bezels, I should say, the cinematic bars. However, when you watch this on 21:9, the reason why this is the correct way to do it is that this will be in full screen. And when we play this full screen on a 16:9 monitor, it would still be 21:9 with the cinematic bars on the top and the bottom. So what's the solution to this? Well, I'll show you in both Premiere and Resolve. So when you open up Premiere and Resolve, both are different in their own ways, but then they have the same idea. So in this case, this is exactly 16:9. However, if I want a 2:3 aspect ratio, then I can select 2:3. This is a custom sequence I made, which if I press OK, as you can see, now I have a 2:3 aspect ratio, also known as 21:9. Now if I open up Resolve, Resolve does things a little bit different, but it's the same idea. If I go to File and Project Settings, this is like the sequence in Premiere where you can make your custom sequence and resolution. So here you can change these resolution values to make it 2:3, or they have a preset called CinemaScope where you can use 21:9 as your project settings. So when you save and you import a file, you should be able to get 21:9. I didn't admit here, I forgot to mention that this is the reason why 16:9 became the standard for a lot of broadcast companies. It's because 16:9 allows you to see a lot of these different videos and different ratios without having to sacrifice 4:3, 21:9, 16:9, all of these different types of aspect ratios that exist today. The reason why the broadcast standard is 16:9 is because you can see all of those things without having to sacrifice any pixels. So, back to the video. So, what's the solution to this? Well, if you're showing multiple aspect ratios in one video, So let's say you want to show 21:9, 4:3, and all of these other aspect ratios, then you should edit in 16:9 and add these cinematic bars to kind of mimic those aspect ratios. However, if you're editing in one aspect ratio only, then your timeline and your sequence should be that aspect ratio. So if you're delivering in 21:9, 2:3 aspect ratio, then you should edit in 21:9 and export in 21:9 so that you don't get those weird side crops and this weird formatting, right? So again, as long as you guys know the differences and you know the intention and you know that this can help you tell a better story, then at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong. However, you are doing it wrong if you don't understand the difference between cinematic bars and exporting in that aspect ratios. I put a lot of effort into this video, so I hope you guys could tell. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.